Hello friends, today we are going to learn what are all the torts relating to personal freedom and safety. This is a part 5 video of the playlist Laws Relating to Tort. As I explained in the part 1 video, that is the elements of tort, legal damage. If there is an infringement of legal right, then it will amount to tort. So in this case, you should find answer for two questions. What is legal right and what will happen if there is an infringement in legal right? Article 21. Article 21 provides each citizen the protection of life and personal liberty. No person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedure established by law. These are some of the rights that are provided for us under Article 21. Right to education, right to shelter, right to medical care, right to food, right to livelihood, right to privacy, and right to healthy environment. So the legal right is provided for every citizen under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. So we have the right to live in this society without any disturbance. Now you understand what is the legal right available here. And what happens if it is infringed? Anything or any activity that causes interruption in our way of living, or if the freedom of personal liberty or safety is infringed, then it will amount to tort. Here are the actions that are relating to the personal freedom and safety that will amount to tort. Battery, assault, bodily harm, false imprisonment, malicious prosecution, nervous shock, and defamation. Now I will brief all these actions in detail. Battery. Any direct application of force to the person of another individual without his consent or lawful justification is a wrong of battery. Elements of battery: application of force and without plaintiff's consent or any lawful justification. Battery implies the unlawful beating of another. It includes every willful, angry, violent or negligent touching of another person or clothes or anything attached to the person or held by them. The purpose of battery is to cause physical harm to other person, and physical contact is mandatory. Next is assault. When the defendant by his act creates an apprehension in the mind of plaintiff that he is going to commit battery against him, the tort of assault is committed. Usually, when there is a battery, there will also be an assault, but not in the case when the person is hit from the behind. For example, by striking at him or even holding up the fist. Fist means a person's hand when the fingers are bent in towards the palm and held there tightly at him in threatening or an insulting manner. The purpose of assault is just to threaten the peoples. The threat of violence is enough and no physical contact is necessary in case of assault. I will give you a small example in order to differentiate the battery and assault. To throw a stone on the other person so that the other person gets physical injury is an battery. If a person shows a stone to other person and makes an apprehension that he is going to throw it on him but actually do not throw a stone is an assault. Bodily harm. A willful act to cause physical harm to the plaintiff is a tort of bodily harm. Bodily harm is defined as any hurt or injury to a person that interferes with the health or comfort of the person. False imprisonment. When a person who doesn't have a legal authority or justification intentionally restrains another person's ability to move freely is called false imprisonment. This is also called as unlawful imprisonment. When a person is confined within certain limits so that he cannot move about and so his personal liberty is infringed, it is a serious violation of person's right and liberty. Kidnapping the person is moreover related to the false imprisonment, but in kidnapping, the victim should be moved from one place to another new place. Kidnapping is a crime and it is punishable upon successful prosecution. But the false imprisonment is a civil wrong and we can claim for damages. Before explaining the tort of malicious prosecution, I give you an illustration. Concentrate on the situation I am explaining in this illustration, then connect it with the meaning of malicious prosecution. For the illustrative purpose, I introduce to you two people, Suraj and Vinod. What happens is Suraj commits a tort to Vinod. So Vinod files a suit against Suraj. This is normal. Then what happens? Suraj, who is the defendant, also files a case against Vinod without any probable reasons. The Suraj's only intention is to delay the justice. But the case was decided in favor of Vinod. In this instance, Suraj is said to be acted maliciously against Vinod. Again, I am explaining this. First, Suraj commits a tort to Vinod. Vinod, who is a plaintiff, files a suit against Suraj. Suraj, who is a defendant, also files a case against Vinod with an intention to delay the justice. But in the case was decided in the favor of Vinod. In this instance, Suraj is said to be acted maliciously or committed the tort of malicious prosecution. Now I will explain what is the meaning of malicious prosecution. While I am explaining the definition of malicious prosecution, try to connect it with the illustration I explained before. Malicious prosecution consists in instigating the judicial proceedings. Instigating means initiating against another. Another here mentions the plaintiff Vinod. Maliciously or without reasonable and probable cause, which terminate in favor of that other, which means the case is decided in favor of the plaintiff, who is Vinod, and which results in damage to his here is Vinod, which means plaintiff, reputation, personal freedom or property. Here are the essentials of malicious prosecution. The plaintiff was prosecuted by the defendant, which means the case has been filed by the Suraj against Vinod. Without reasonable cause, the only intention of Suraj is to delay the justice. There is no reasonable cause. And the defendant acted maliciously. Maliciously means with improper motive. Plaintiff suffered damage. I already explained what damage is. Damage means the loss of comfort, health, wealth, etc. as a result of prosecution. And the proceedings were decided in favor of the plaintiff. That is Vinod. If all these four conditions are satisfied, then the tort of malicious prosecution is committed. Nervous shock. It provides relief when a person gets physical injury not by an impact, example by a stick, a bullet or stone or sword, but merely by the nervous shock through what he has seen or heard. Causing of nervous shock itself is not enough to make it an actionable tort. Some injury or illness must take place as the result of emotional disturbance, fear or sorrow. In simple words, the nervous shock will be treated as tort only if there is some injury due to the nervous shock. Defamation. Defamation is an attack on the reputation of a person. It means that something is said or done by a person which will negatively affect the reputation of another. In India, the defamation is both a tort and a crime. Types of defamation: libel and slander. Libel is a defamatory statement made in some permanent form, for example, written words, pictures, or in any printed material. Slander means verbally harming the reputation of another individual or entity that is known to be false or misleading. Not only the use of specific words, but also the actions such as hand gestures or facial expressions also constitute to slander. For example, spoken words and gestures. In India, both libel and slander are treated as crime. Section 499 of the Indian Penal Code recognizes both libel and slander as an offense. Punishment for libel is more severe than for slander. We came to the end of the session. I hope you will find this video helpful. Thanks for watching and kindly do subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for further updates. See you all in the next video. Thank you.